Hi BookTube, my name is Juan, I am just one reader and I am here with a TBR for the summer. Now, I cannot really remember when was the last time that I did a TBR just because my reading has been quite inconsistent as of late, and by as of late, I mean in recent years, and that's been because of my intense working schedule and academic reading and all of the academic writing and just overall academic duties that I have to do. It's been quite a lot this past 5-6 years. But the thing is, we're in the middle of June and it's going to be July pretty soon, and I get both July and August completely free. So I get a 2-month extremely long vacation that I need to take advantage of before I return to the last semester of my psychoanalytical training, which takes place, it starts in September. So I need to take advantage of my last summer break, and that's why I am here to share the books, or some of the books that I would love to read. So for me, summer reading is all about disconnecting altogether, disconnecting completely from, academia and from thinking. Of course, I want my fun reading, or the reading that I do on the side, to be very complex, and I want it to still make me think and make me reflect and ponder and consider things in life that are important. I apologize if you can hear my dog barking. He's just going nuts right now. I think he's chasing a squirrel or something. But so I do need, or I would love for most of these books to give me food for thought, but what I really want to take out from the experience of reading them is fun and pleasure and enjoyment. And so yeah, that's why I have curated this TBR this way. Also, I will probably end up including more fantasy because I want to read more fantasy. That's actually what I talked about in one of my most recent videos, that I wanted to get reacquainted with the fantasy genre. So I will probably use my summer break to do that as well, but I'm not including a lot of fantasy in this particular TBR. That's sort of something else on top, like a topping, like an extra bonus, if you will. So the first thing that I would like to do is to finish both of the books that I am currently reading and greatly enjoying, even though they are very different reads. Ship of Magic, which is the third book in the Lifeship Traders by Robin Hobb. I am a little over halfway through this book. It's a giant book, and I am really enjoying it. I feel like I still need to get to the really good part, which is the climax and the ending. But so far, this trilogy is really great. I don't think it's perfect, which I think is a controversial opinion because everyone says that this is like the best thing ever. I do think it's great. I do think it's like a 5-star read, but I don't think it's like perfect technically. But I will talk more about the Robin Hobb's flaws and critique, and in the video in which I wrap this up. But I want to finish this, and then I also want to finish The Silmarillion by Tolkien. I am really only just started with this, but I'm really liking the tone, the texture of the language and everything. I think it's just really beautifully written, and I love the kind of lore, the way that it feels like something real. It feels just incredible. I mean, reading Tolkien is a real privilege, but it can be tiresome, it can be complex, it can be even difficult. So I want to take it in small doses, but I would love to get the Silmarillion over and done with. Then I want to read The Morning Gift by Eva Ibbotson, which is a book that I've been wanting to read this for so long, and I just never actually do it. And I don't know why. I think it's because for some reason I have this idea that this is going to be the last Eva Ibbotson book available to me, or that I will be able to read, just because the rest of her novels are more like YA. This is also YA, but I feel like this is still something that I will greatly enjoy. And the rest of her work, for some reason, I have created this idea in my mind that it will not be for me. I don't know why. So I have this weird fantasy that this will be the last Eva Ibbotson book for me. And I think that's why I am holding on to the experience. But I think this is going to be great. I mean, everyone says that this is one of her best books. Then I want to read a kind of classic, but it's supposed to be really, really funny, The Diary of a Provincial Lady. I bought this at Hatchards in London, Piccadilly Circus, and yeah, I just feel like this is right up my alley. I mean, The Diary of a Provincial Lady. Also, you could call this my life. So I want to read that. Continuing on with fun British silliness. Of course, probably my favorite author that I've read or that I've discovered in my adult life, or maybe I'm exaggerating. One of the authors that I've grown to love in such a special way is P.G. Wodehouse. And I started reading the Jeeves stories this year, or was it last year? No, I think it was this year. I think it was earlier this year. I read the first Jeeves story, I think. You can read them in any order, really, but I think I read the first one, or one of the first ones, and now I want to continue, and I have this bind up, Just Enough Jeeves. And of course, this follows Bertie Wooster, who is this kind of young, posh, socialite living in London in like the, what is it? I think it's 19 something. I honestly don't even know. I think it's the 20. Yeah, it has to be the 20th century. Yeah, it's like the 1920s or something like that. I love the setting. I love the characters, but most of all, I love P.G. Wodehouse's writing. There's no one like him. If you've never read P.G. Wodehouse, if there's anything that I can ever teach you, not teach you, but just like recommend to you and seriously suggest to you, my dear friend, is just pick up something by P.G. Wodehouse. Anything. You can read anything. So yeah, P.G. Wodehouse, of course, has to be there. Now, I do want to keep my brain, my critical thinking skills active, even in the summer. So I have selected only one nonfiction, like serious nonfiction book, which is about a topic that I think is really, really important nowadays. This book is by Helen Pluckrose and James Lindsay, and it's called Cynical Theories. Don't you love that cover? It's so cool and so simple. How activist scholarship made everything about race, gender, and identity, and why this harms everybody. This book is a very harsh critique, but from a very scholarly, serious kind of place. But it's a very harsh critique, really, of, the whole gender, race, identity discourse that is reigning the internet and social media. And it's, I do think it's very harmful. I think it's also very helpful in many ways because it gives voice to diversity and to, minorities and all of that. And it promotes, or it supposedly wants to promote equality, but it has really become a perverted kind of discourse with some people. Of course, it's a very sort of politically incorrect thing to say, but it is a harmful, potentially harmful discourse because it abolishes, when it goes to the really far extremes, it can really abolish critical thinking. And I think it's a very interesting topic. Of course, it's not a simple topic, but that's why we need to think about it. So this is, of course, a critique of this kind of identity, race, and gender discourse, but I think it's interesting to read from both perspectives and from all perspectives, really. This is a very short book. It actually looks quite larger than it actually is, quite longer. It's only like 250 pages, but it does actually involve a lot of philosophy and a lot of studies and a lot of complex theories and concepts. So it's taking me some time to read. I've actually already started this, and it's really good. So hope to continue on with that. Then something completely different. I would love to dip my toes into Percy Jackson territory because I just want to have fun. I've been working like crazy for the past 7 or 8, maybe 9 years. Like I've been really, really, really busy. My life has been very lucky and very fortunate in many, many regards. Of course, I see that, but I've been working a lot, and I just haven't had that kind of experience that, I used to have when I was younger, and I would just pick up like a Harry Potter book or something like that, and I would just get completely disconnected from the real world and completely immersed in something fun and young and funny and silly, but also filled with good storytelling and great characters. And I do think that Percy Jackson could give me that. So I want to read at least the first book, which I have read. I read it like 12 years ago or something, and I remember I loved it. So of course I know that going back to this kind of middle grade young adult like young side of young adult literature might be weird for me now that I am used to reading some other things, but I would love for this to still work for me. Then something completely bizarre and fun, and something that I am really looking forward to, is The Sisters Brothers. I have no idea what this book is about. Like, I haven't even read the synopsis or the back of the book, or I haven't really read anything. I have no idea what's coming in this book. All I know is that it's written by Patrick DeWitt, and he's the author of French Exit, which is one of my favorite books of recent years. It was my favorite book of last year, 2020. I just adored the writing, the storytelling, the sarcasm, the wit. Patrick DeWitt is very witty. I just loved that book, and I want to read everything that he's written. So, by the way, there's a movie of French Exit with Michelle Pfeiffer and Lucas Hedges. Don't watch it, just stick to the book. It's untranslatable. It's so good. And finally, The Chunkster. I have a huge Stephen King book, which is 221163. This is the title in Spanish, because in Spanish we always put the day, the number of the day, and then the month, which in the United States and in many other countries it's the other way around. So it would be 11/22/63, whatever. It's the same thing. It's about a president that was murdered, JFK. So I actually don't know anything about JFK. I am incredibly ignorant when it comes to history, especially American history or foreign history. I'm just, that's an area of my education that has not flourished, and that I never really took care of, honestly. So I don't really know anything about JFK. I know that he was killed, but I don't even know why, how, who did it. I know nothing, but hopefully this book will teach me some things, although of course I don't want to read Stephen King so I can learn, but maybe it can be like a byproduct of enjoying this book. This book is supposed to be one of the best Stephen King novels, and I haven't read Stephen King in like 2 years. I honestly don't even remember which was the last Stephen King book that I read. It might have been a short story collection. So anyway, those are some of the options for my summer reading. Of course, I welcome all of your suggestions, recommendations. All of your guidance is greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. I am Just One Reader, and happy summer reading.